The Washington, D.C. Region SCCA Virtual Racing League heads into its 5th points-paying round this week at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's Road America, the National Park of Speed. It's week number 7 of 11 in the season, and with 4 tracks, all international, coming up on the calendar with the final round at Dakota in the end of March. We're about to wrap things up with the season in just a few weeks' time, but first, we have to head to the monolithic racetrack here in Wisconsin. This place, 14 corners, 4 miles. It's as big as they come, Finian. Road America, this place is awesome, and we're going to race today in the FIA F4 cars. This is a huge racetrack for these, but it should be a lot of fun in a quick 30-minute race.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to see these drivers get a chance to slipstream off one another. It's all going to be about top speed down the several long straightaways for these drivers. It's going to feel like an eternity in these F4 cars, but we're going to see, again, with that, some exciting action. A lot of places to pass, a lot of places to get things done. Big contrast compared to Zandvoort where we were last week.
Yeah, this is different in every conceivable way. 14 corners, as I mentioned, that run down the front straightaway to turn 1. That's a 4th gear corner, maybe 5th in these cars. A quick little kink through turn 2. Then it's down the hill through turn 3, all the way to turn 5. That's probably your best passing zone here on this racetrack, Finian, before the uphill into turn 6. Probably the most challenging corner on this racetrack as the car gets unloaded in that left-hander under the Corvette bridge. Turn 7 and 8, down through the hurry downs into the carousel, and then that kink on the backside of the racetrack, turn number 11. Finian, it's easy flat in this car, but don't get complacent, because if you make a mistake there, you're in the fence.
Yeah, you really can, and then adding you can in a corner that is just going to be one of the most treacherous corners really for these drivers tonight. I think you might see a couple of wrecks potentially from drivers either making contact or just dipping a wheel off and going flying off from the wall, but we'll see how they do.
And, of course, that Bill Mitchell bend, that used to be where the track crossover was. It was a bridge over the racetrack with a big concrete abutment, and after a couple of really nasty crashes there, they eliminated that bridge, built a tunnel under it, right between turns 13 and 14, right where that Vehicles for Life sign is. Under the racetracks, that's how you get in. Turn 14, another very important corner. That will be very important on the last lap of this race, Vinny, and the climb up the hill towards the start-finish line. This is where you're going to win this race tonight, I fear. Really the last couple hundred yards. I don't care how good you are before that. You need to be good out of turn 14.
Yeah, we've seen how valuable the slipstream is for this car. So you talk about, we always talk about the straightaway, right? But really got to focus your attention at the beginning of the straightaway, getting out of those corners and onto the straightaway. If you mess up the run, being the leading car, you're going to find yourself passed. If you can get a decent run off, you might have a chance of defending from the drivers in coming behind you. If you look at qualifying here, Ken Alseal currently at the top of qualifying, and you may notice that there's a certain driver that does not put down a lap time, who's usually near the top of the standings.
I'll give him a minute. He'll get there. DJ Alessandrini pulling double duty again tonight with the Grid Life race a little while later at the same racetrack. He has not put down a time. We have just about 20 drivers running here tonight, including Caleb Patry, who was very impressive and topped the board in practice. TJ's going to bail out. Can't do that too many times, Finney. You don't have all that much time with only 8 minutes left on the board, and it takes almost 4.5 minutes to go from pit out to lap completed here.
Yeah, it takes a while, and a lot of people end up forgetting that half the time. It's like we got 15 minutes of qualifying for these drivers tonight, so they get a chance to at least get a couple laps in. But yeah, you pretty much forget that it takes nearly 4 minutes to make a lap, and then qualifying's pretty much halfway over by the time you realize that. So you want to get out there and get some laps down. Patry out across the line. He's definitely one of the quicker guys tonight, fastest time in practice. So definitely, talked about jokingly DJ's dominance in this series. Patry think definitely may be one to knock him down a peg. So look here, this is number 18.
Yes, Nathan Brackman.
Brackman as he comes across onto the front straightaway. He's finishing a lap.
Yeah, we'll see where he puts this car. Again, 20 on the board, or at least 20 in the session that will be going for qualifying efforts. A 2:11, 182. That will put him down at the bottom for now. He was new as of last week, so still getting his sea legs in this car and getting prepped to go racing tonight. I don't think qualifying matters all that much here, Finney, and I think racecraft is going to matter a lot. Think back to our round at Aragon and how much drafting mattered. I think this track is going to have a lot of similar characteristics. I've heard Tom O'Gorman describe this track as a tale of two racetracks, though. Turn 1 to turn 5, it's a power racetrack. You need to get your acceleration down, carry top speed. That's where that's important. But once you get to turn 6 through turn number 12, that's a handling section. And if you are good enough, you might be able to drive away from the field behind you, but it's going to be hard with all the drafts that these guys have.
Yeah, Sector 2 of this track really depended on really the grip of this car, how much it's got mechanical and aerodynamics-wise, but even mostly mechanicals. They're fairly slow, medium-speed corners here, so with these cars that barely have any downforce to begin with, really going to be struggling. As you look at Peter Lausen across the line for him, he's yet to put a time down as he's on his 3rd lap, I think now on his 4th across the line for him, and he's down on the order in 18th.
Yeah, so let's see if Lausen can
Ooh, and DJ.
notch a spot. See what DJ's got. Here he comes up the hill.
Oh, he's starting a lap. Sorry about that.
Well, we have to wait another 2 minutes. Louis Alessi, where is he? He's headed down towards Canada Corner. I think Canada Corner is one of the most beautiful turns in all of racing. And you get down there in the real world and you realize how little runoff area there really is. That's paved now, isn't in iRacing. But, man, you get down there, you realize just how tight it is. If you have something go wrong in that area of the racetrack, it is a bad day. Sean Fritz up to 13th place. Alessi a little bit off the apex there, but he'll run to the rumbles on the exit and up the hill for his 3rd lap.
See if he can improve. Bumps across the line.
2:11.034. It's good enough for 17th. James Cathers up to 7th place.
Yeah, jumped a couple spots with that, so up to 7th for him. Notably, Ken O'Seal, he expanded the gap up at the front. No change of position, but expanded it now to almost 0.2 of a second between himself and Patrick.
On his last lap. About 0.2
so
up.
Caleb.
Just trying to, and just trying to keep DJ covered, because DJ's only going to have an opportunity to probably do one more lap after this one. And let's see, actually, yeah, he's
working through just doing the kink right now.
See what he does through the kink here. Flat out, power down, upshift. But this car is still carried out to the edge of the road. These cars have a little bit of downforce, but they don't have all of it. Not all that they could on this chassis. So, and it's a balance every time you come here as well. It's, do you set up the race car to have some handling, or do you set it up for those higher speed sections? Whoa, big slide there. That's going to cost him some time.
Yeah, he's definitely. I don't think he's going to be able to make 2 laps in. He's just going to be shy by about 15 seconds or so. So he'll get 1 solid lap in. Whether he knows that or not, he's got to make it count. Well, he can't afford to make a mistake. He dipped the tire off there. And even when we just cut to him and saw him stop his first lap, he went out wide. He actually caught a little bit of air over the curbs because he went down so wide, and that's why he had to reset.
Well, 209.582 puts him 6th regardless.
Oh, that did count.
Yeah, I don't think he went off in turn 12. Got very close to it. And the question is, can he pick up this time around? I would expect that he can, because the tires are a bit more up to temp now, and he's got a few more laps under his belt. But this will be his last opportunity, and the question is, can he jump nearly a full second? He needs to go at least 7.5 tenths to top Caleb Patchery off the pole now, because the 498 goes to the top.
Yeah, and just beats out Ken O'Seal by just under 1/10 of a second. And O'Seal, he is done, so Patchery will be sitting on top of the scoring pylon for now. Todd Rushing, a potential driver that could upset the balance. He's up a little bit on his lap. Might pass Luke Cantor from 3rd. The way the timing's looking at the moment, and they're all about 7/10 of a second back. Tal Siddiqui's done with his time, so it's really waiting on Rushing and Alessandrini to set their times.
Track temperature is down to about 84 degrees, and in the past we'd seen DJ wait to the very end of the session to take advantage of the cooling track temperatures.
I don't think it was by choice this time.
No. I think he meant to delay it this far. Here's Todd Rushing, last corner though. It looks like he's up in the green a bit. Is it enough to vault himself at least to the opposite side of the second row and knock Cantor down a spot? Let's see what Todd Rushing has.
It's just about hovering around that mark. Cross the line.
Slightly slower than it. Oh, no, that was his best. It just wasn't enough to pip Luke Cantor. 74 thousandths off of his next compadre up there in third place. Here is Alessandrini through Canada Corner. He's up 0.6 of a second. That would put him up on the front row if he can cling to it.
You got to get through this final corner. This is such it's a very difficult corner to nail, because again, you got to prioritize that exit onto the front straightaway. It can make or break a lap. Looks like it might be making it here. He's hovering around 7/10, 8/10 of a second on our scoring. We'll see, can he execute?
Average speed 111.201, 208.944 grabs 3rd place there, and he will not have enough time to complete his final qualifying lap. So not pole, but he still puts himself 2nd row, and maybe waited a bit too long for that cloud, because he's about 10 seconds shy of finishing out this last one.
Yeah, I think honestly, had he gotten this last lap, as he's already up a tenth or two now on this lap, probably would have been able to execute, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. And third isn't bad.
I don't think it's going to hurt him all that much, if I'm honest. A 30-minute race around here at Road America. It's going to be probably 13, 14 laps with these cars. I don't think he even will need half of one to get to the lead should he want it immediately. But we'll see how this car races here. This is a very big racetrack for these cars. And you'll spend a lot of time in the slipstream and maneuvering and playing the racecraft game. Which, going back to Aragon, I know there was some dramas there at the end, but he almost lost that race from racecraft. So, well, we'll see. Doesn't have the driver that beat him there is not in this race. And also noticing that we don't have, who are we missing? Pilata is here, but he's only down an 8th. That's surprising to me. Yeah,
not the best qualifying for him. Not sure what that was for. I want to see if he got all his laps in. No, he only got, I think, 1, maybe 2, 3 laps. Yeah, he stopped after his 3rd lap.
DJ works his way through the kink again, completely flat. My question is, in a train of cars, can you keep the car flat through there still?
Yeah, I think you might have to give it a little bit of a lift because these cars don't have a whole lot of aerodynamic grip, but what little is they're going to be relying on going flat out to that corner.
Qualifying is complete. DJ Alessandrini will have to start row 2. Caleb Patry, though, is on pole for this one alongside Ken Howe-Seal here at Road America. I always call this place the Jurassic Park of motorsports. Some call it the National Park of Speed. The first time I was here was back in 2020. I was here for a GT World Challenge America event. I was following along one of the CrowdStrike drivers who got injured in a practice session, so he wasn't able to complete the rest of the weekend. So I spent all the Sunday walking through the woods at the top of the hill on the far side of the racetrack, and I came through a clearing, and Lamborghinis and Mercedes AMGs just ripping by this opening in the clearing on the back straightaway by the kink. And I have these great videos on my phone. It looks like you're walking in a forest and you just stumble upon it. It's here, the National Park of Speed. All right, let's head down to the racetrack here and get things started with our starting lineup. Let's have one last look at the weather, though, before we get started. 83-degree track temp, nice and cool as far as iRacing is concerned, and it's a very short pace lap as well here, Finian. So let's not delay. Get things kicked off with our starting lineup. It's Caleb Patry and Ken Howe-Seal on that front row.
And moving on back to row number 2, it's going to be DJ Alessandrini. Can he come back from 3rd to 1st and seal the deal? We'll see Luke Cantor start next to him in the 8 car in 4th.
And 5th place is Todd Rushing in the 02, and Tala Sadiq rolls off 6th in the number 20.
Back in 7th is going to be Mike Leod in the 53, next to him Andrew Pilata starting the 96 and 8th.
9th place, row 5, Francois Brou in the number 69. Adam Kobach, let's keep an eye on him from 10th in the 85 car.
James Cather's going to be rolling off in the 129 and 11, next to Ryan Carwell in the 71 and 12th.
And 13th place, it's Sean Fritz in the number 19. Kevin Zoo's going to have a busy week next week. He rolls off 14th in the number 10.
Got to enjoy the fun while it lasts. And Nick Brunei is going to be in the 13 car and 15th. Albert No in the 181 and 16th.
Richard Sawicki rolls off 17th place in the number 528. Nathan Brackman, his second week here in the series, starts 18th in the fittingly numbered 18 car.
Moving on back to our final row, row 10, Louis Alessi in the 43 and 19th, and rounding out our even field of 20 cars, Peter Lausen in the number 2.
Nice, because it fills up the ticker without having a next
I
next
know, I was
page.
going to say, it looks so beautiful. Just completely filled, nothing missing.
All right, cars are rolling. Caleb Patry was off the grid for a moment, maybe checking qualifying fuel, but he is back. And the race distance is 30 minutes, 14 laps.
I just heard someone hit something.
That's not good. Keep all the wings and things on these cars as long as you can. Pace cars off. The field will bunch up the hill. Big climb up a couple of stories here to the very long and flat front straightaway. It's narrower than you think it is. So look out before you take them 3 wide. Here we go. Green flag at Road America. The DC Region SCCA Virtual Racing League. Round 5 is underway. And already DJ's going to take it 3 wide. Thought better of it in the middle, but he's going to go to the right.
He's trying to look for an opening opportunity. The thing is, these guys got to be really careful. Cold tires, we barely had any pace lap. These tires are going to be ice cold here as they head through turn 1. Looks like everyone makes it through in the first couple rows. 1 car off in the sand. That's Albert No.
Yeah, he got tangled up back there. Here's DJ late on the brakes alongside Luke Cantor in the yellow and blue car, and he will cling to 3rd place right where he started. Now down the stretch towards turn 5. Caleb Patry splitting off with Ken Howe-Seal. How long can they keep that going for? Look at this 3 wide.
Oh, look for the lead, though. Caleb Patrick, Ken O'Seal, they're side by side for the lead into turn 5. We talked about this being the best passing opportunity, one of the best passing opportunities on this track, and Patrick will make it on through. O'Seal back to second. Allison Jr. and Cantor side by side for third.
Yeah, Cantor locked up his left front tire on the braking down alongside DJ. Managed to keep from running into the side pod, but lost some ground on exit. There's Todd Rushing and Tala Sadiq back here for 5th place now. So Tala can set him up for a pass down here at turn 8. I think geometrically, it's very similar to turn 5, but you don't have the run-up that you do on the back straightaway. So passing opportunity is there if you can maintain momentum through 7. Now to the carousel. This is a balancing act here. Feet are steering the car. Back on power early for Tala. Get right down to the rumble strips and set up for the kink here on this opening lap.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this guy's going to run now in the tow of other drivers, also feeling the dirty air from the other drivers, and it looks like for the most part, everyone's still going just about flat out.
Somebody went off, and I think, was that Sean Fritz? I knew somebody was going to go off in the kink. They always do. Here's a look at it. He was wide before they even got to the corner. Let's see if he had some contact or some help.
Side by side a little bit offline,
yeah. 13, and then just now while we were in replay there, it sounds like Todd Rushing has had a problem. Let's see what happened to 0-2.
He just made a mistake into Canada corner, went a little bit wide, a little bit too high, and around, well, not around, he just went off to the gravel trap and slow down. Back to 12th for him. As you look here for the lead, Ken O'Seal going side by side. DJ trying to go through the middle. Door gets slammed shut. Decides to go on the right.
3 wide for the lead. DJ on the inside. O'Seal on the outside. O'Seal takes the lead away. DJ wants it and has overlap through turn 2 and down into turn 3. He's going to tuck in line right behind Ken for the moment. And there's Cantor past Patry for 3rd.
For Patry, horrible set of corners.
Oh, big crash. One car tumbling. It's Tala Sadiq up and over at turn 3.
Wow, that was one of the worst wrecks I've seen in these cars. Holy. I've never seen a car flip like that.
First time for everything. Gets up, climbs over the top of Pilata, and went for a wild flip. End over end, side over side. Wow, look at the violence in that.
That was a majestic crash. And to cut back alive, you think something just happened.
Oh, more trouble. Wow. Cantor, Patry, Rushing. Big dramas down here.
Caution if we had it enabled. That's a track blockage right there. Caleb Patry involved, Luke Cantor involved at the front. I saw it get a little bit spicy with D down Santorini, so something happened here. As a big dive from Patry.
Oh, yeah.
DJ went wide, and
oh my gosh. And then they got stranded here, and a couple cars just right into the midst. There's the 0-2, but a big send from Patry. Yeah, that was ugly. Cantor climbs over the top of him. They're going to get broadside there by the 0-2. So big dramas up at the front. Here's Cathers and Kovac for 3rd place, and Alessandrini and O'Seal separated. Whoa, look out, wide goes one of the cars. Kovac across the track. Horrible crash again, leaving the kink. What a disaster this has been. Pilata's in it as well, and I think Zoo.
This has been a very violent lap, too. We've seen
what has happened?
Three horrible wrecks this lap.
I mean,
after such a clean lap 1.
Gosh, is it a full moon, or did someone said something to the wrong demon? I mean, oh my gosh. Kevin Zhu just got absolutely just creamed here.
It was full moon 3 days ago.
I mean, watch this. Oh my gosh. Well, all right, so the racing gods have had their appetites hopefully quenched. Ken O'Seal leads Alessandrini by 1.2 seconds. Then the battle's still on for 3rd. James Cathers and Mike Leader and Ryan Carwile and Francois Brou. 4 drivers are out, make that 5 now. Caleb Patry is down pit lane. And then an additional 4 are on pit lane receiving extensive service, including Adam Kovac and Luke Cantor.
You know what's funny? Andrew Pilata, he ended up retiring. He got caught out. So he was involved in that first incident with Tala Sadiq that went flipping. Then he somehow made it through the incident in turn 5. And then he ended up witnessing the incident on the kink on the back straight, and that effectively took him out. He just typed in the chat, "Never do this track again. Holy expletive.
I am become death. Destroyer of F4. Down into turn 8. This is the battle for 3rd. Cathers is leading this pack. in the 129. There was a
Yeah,
race.
a lot of these guys benefited a lot from the wrecks that happened. Some of these guys went up a bunch of spots. Cathers is up +8, Ryan Carwell +7, Richard Sawicki +10 for him.
Cathers was in a race a couple of months ago back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course where all he had to do was run, run, run. He ended up winning that race. Here's Leader and Carwell. That was grid life. And the SCCA doing the same thing here. Here's Carwell popping out of line. Oop, took a swipe at Mike Leader. Swiper no swiping, and he'll have to try again down here at turn 12. A little unstable looking, but using all the rumbles on corner exit.
Following closely in tow. Trying to see if we can get past him. Ooh, gotta be careful with that curve. A lot of guys have been seeing track out and hitting that curve. We saw DJ catch air in qualifying for a second. Whoa, Brian Carwell off the track. James Cathers almost spun it out of the final corner.
And for the lead, Hausiel and Alessandrini, they're 5.6 seconds clear. No need, no reason to hold back. Here they go side by side.
Yeah, part of me was concerned to see if Hausiel was able to drive away with this thing, but it looks like Alessandrini was just able to catch the toe and now past the 60, now past 23, I should say, of Ken Hausiel. Yeah, but the thing was, it's going to be nearly impossible to drive away.
Well, Lizard Brains at the head of the field. And Richard Sawicki down the inside, past Francois Brou for 6th place. Sawicki started pretty far back, 17th, up to 6th.
Benefited a lot from those wrecks on the opening lap. In turn 5, Ken Hausiel dive on DJ Alessandrini. This is far from over.
Yeah,
still got
they might just do this the rest of the race, to be honest, because they've got such a big advantage, and why not, right?
Yeah, over 10 laps of racing left, and you mentioned a big advantage, 6 seconds back to 3rd place, James Cathers, so they have a chance to just exchange almost every other corner.
They might have a lot of fun up here, just racing each other without any drivers inserting themselves from 3rd on back, because James Cathers has his hands full with Mike Leader. Couple 2-car breakaways here and there, then it's a 3-car fight with Carwell, Sawicki, and Francois Brou. They will probably get sucked back together with the slipstream on the front straightaway, but for now, we'll keep our eyes on the front battle. It's got a long way to go here, almost 2/3 of the race still left to go.
The crazy thing is if they were to be involved in an incident, and goes then to James Cathers and Mike Leader for the lead, and honestly with the way this race is going, not completely out of the question.
I don't think that's the case either. Well, DJ's in line here, down into turn 12. Here's Leader and Cathers. Leader in the gold, Cathers in the green. On the outside into turn 12, that's a hard pass to make. And he'll have to give that up and try it again later. Yeah,
that inside line, you just naturally want to track out wide, but you have to be respectful of the guy on the outside. Not everyone is all the time, and a lot of collisions happen that way. And especially in open wheel cars like this, you have to be extremely careful. Make sure you don't make contact, because that could effectively end your race.
Whoa!
Whoa! Both of them completely missing the corner.
Yeah, one of the crashes I see a lot in Road America in iRacing is just dropping the left side tires in the grass entering turn 12. Because the track kind of kinks back to the left there, Finney, and if you get the tires on the grass and hit the brakes, loaded up tires, you're going in the fence.
Around you go.
Leader pops out of line again on Cathers. Big lunge up the inside. Then they're both going to be wide a little bit again on exit. Brackman and Alessi trading spots back here for 8th. Both these drivers started at the tail of the field as well.
Yeah, they're enjoying a decent amount of pickup from all the crashes, so up to 9th and 10th respectively from both of them. In their own little contested fight back here in 9th. They're about 14 seconds, sorry, correct that, 4 seconds back from Francois Brou up the right. It's getting dark on the track.
I was going to say, what time is it today? Oh, it is evening, too.
7:37.
Yeah. So it is pretty late. 20 minutes from now, it could get pretty dark. You're right about that. Sean Fritz. Oh, gosh.
Oh, that car is destroyed. How? What's going to happen to him? Because I don't think he was around anyone.
No, this is just now entering turn 1.
Did he get track out and spin?
Oh, yep. Oh, man. Holy cow.
Yep. Yeah, those walls are extremely close. There becomes almost like a street circuit through there, through turn 2.
That legitimate racing car is looking less and less legitimate.
Looking legitimately destroyed.
Yeah. That's no fun to end like that. I've seen cars hit those walls in the real world. That is a gut-wrenching.
I gotta say, coming into this round, I was not expecting this to be an attrition film.
No, I wasn't.
I was expecting Zandvoort to be more of that.
I expected attrition, but not in the way that we've seen it. I would have expected it at the tail end of the race. But I thought people would kind of play this like a Miata race where you kind of sit around and draft for a handful of laps, but they chose war right from drop the green.
War not.
So 9 laps to go, 19 minutes left, and Ken back to the lead. DJ will likely take another swing at it here, and no point in defending. They're still gaining time, hand over fist over Cathers and leader. So again, as long as they can keep it clean, that was a little tight.
That's floating with death. I mean, what the fact that it's become for these two, because it got such a big lead now and it's only ever expanding, it's going to be effectively like a bicycle race. You see, like the Tour de France. Like, hey, you know, the rest of it, you know, matters, but doesn't quite matter. It doesn't really matter who's in front up until that final stretch with effectively the last lap. That's when it's all going to come down to it. All these little exchanges for positions don't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but I'm sure they're trying to keep themselves entertained here for the next 15 minutes or so before it really kicks off.
Yeah, I think you're right, about 15 minutes away from seeing the major dramas. Here's what got us into this. This is lap 2, coming down into turn 3. There's Talas Sadiq, drifts over, ramps the 96, goes for a tumble. But then just a little bit later, down the end of the same straightaway, was Caleb Patry tangling with Luke Cantor. That's that blue and yellow car right there. And then what happened?
Blocked the track. Pilata skate through. He didn't get himself involved in this, but he witnessed that crash, and then
he was missing a rear wing, so
yes, so he was already struggling at this point.
Yeah. That was the majority of it, and then there was the crash a little bit later in the lap that had Kevin Zhu up, airborne, tumbling through it, like one of those dandelion beads.
Sure. Oh, I know what
the little white ones that you blow up.
Yes.
You know, you'd make a wish.
Yes.
Wish for less crashes at Road America. Yeah, into the braking zone for turn 14, and these two continue to extrapolate their advantage. And DJ got a really early run. So this is interesting. I wonder if Ken will have enough time to redraft past DJ.
No, I don't think so. Looks like it's kind of evening out. As DJ hits the clean air and all the drag that comes with it. It looks like Housey's going to back out of it. Let DJ's in the lead.
Throttled up pretty early, Ken did, though. He's going to have a pretty nice advantage. Turn 3, you can make passes down here. This is not the place I'd like to do it because I kill my run down the very long backstretch. And you see Ken is going to get back to throttle nice and early and draft past DJ most likely into 5.
That's why turn 3 is interesting, because you can make a pass, but then you allow your opponent to potentially pass you down into turn 5 where they can get it really good around here. But side by side for both of them, and we'll see who's going to outright the other. Who's going to play nice. They both are playing fairly nice, and it looks like DJ's going to go in. Ken is going to pull back in behind and let the DJ machine on through.
Yeah, so Alessandrini goes back to the point, up into 6. This is a really challenging corner. I mean, maybe these cars have just enough downforce to make it a little easier, even at slower speeds, but you come up over that crest, and the track drops away from you, so the car gets light. You don't have a really good sight line on it. Very easy place to get yourself crossed up. That was very tight and close into turn 8, wasn't it? And right on the gearbox of the 61 into turn 8.
Yeah, I think DJ slowed up more than he was anticipating, and that's always the terrifying thing down at turn 8. You think you got into the back of someone, and then you get a little bit too close, and then you kind of panic brake and potentially spin the back out, but Ken able to hold on to it.
We're about halfway through this race now. 7.5 laps in, 15 minutes of 30 complete. And Nick Brunei and Peter Lausen, this is a battle for 11th on the racetrack. Nose in, door open. Lausen wanted through, but couldn't quite fit the rest of his F4 car down in that hole.
No, couldn't quite get there as you see the sun setting off the trio. Beautiful sunset. I will say one thing, these guys have. Can you imagine we had rain in this race?
Well, give us a week.
These cars aren't getting the rain, if I'm not mistaken, right? They're getting the rain tires?
These are, yeah, in addition to it, all the GT3s, and my cat almost just fell off the desk. And for the lead.
GR86.
Yes. GR86. Yeah, we got some fun things coming up on SimTV in the short future. Keep an eye out for announcements.
Soon.
Yeah, hashtag very soon. Ken back to the point as we get 7 laps to go, and there's that sun peeking over the Kettle Moraine region trees.
So I almost saw his left rear tire dip out into the grass. Got a little bit scared there. Gonna loop it around on him because last thing we needed DJ out by over 9 seconds ahead of second place.
We saw DJ in his qualifying lap almost lose it. He kicked the rear end out, but was able to catch it in time with the old slam the brake and throttle at the same time maneuver. Side by side into turn 5. Plenty of room given here. DJ out wide onto the rumble strips. He's going to carry decent speed, but has not yet cleared, Ken, as they approach turn 6.
Yeah, it is so hard to make a move on that outside. You can try to keep here, but then turn 7 here is just so awkward to go on the inside. You kind of push out a car wide. Luckily, these cars are small enough where you can kind of bully someone out of position like that.
Into turn 8 again. And so now the question becomes, these cars obviously are draft locked together. They're going to pass each other, go back and forth. When do you start planning your chess match move to the end? I mean, do you have enough power to reliably make that run up the hill coming to the checkers, or do you have to plan it to do it Canada Corner or somewhere else? Because I've seen these guys pass in almost every corner on this racetrack. I just need to know when you want to make your final pass.
You know what's really funny as you're saying that, DJ just hopped on the radio to Ken. He's like, well, Ken, I think we figured out every single way we could either win or lose this race. We've just been passing each other back and forth.
So, I mean, that's my point. It's like they both know everything, so they both know nothing. You know what I mean? Right? Like, if you have unlocked all the secrets, there are no more secrets.
Yeah, I guess true. I mean, obviously, you would, as the leader, you can defend. You're not really supposed to block. It's like DJ got in trouble for that at Aragon.
Yes.
He's a bit of a naughty boy. So, I mean, you can't just completely block off here. You have to let Ken get something alongside, or you have to let him go with the run.
But you see this run up the hill, Ken was right behind him and didn't have enough speed to catch him. So I don't think you can wait. In a Miata,
no, you don't want to wait till the last corner. I think you're going to want to get it done before Canada Corner. I think that's the last place you can get it done. But Canada Corner, it's so hard to make a move down there as Ken goes on by to the lead.
And not for very long, though.
Switch back from Alessandrini to the inside.
Body hit the ground on the exit of the rumble strip down there. And right back to the point goes Alessandrini. And I'll bet by turn 5, the 23's right back past him again. At least they're keeping it interesting.
It's like a game of leapfrog.
It is. Except Roger Penske's watching. Into the braking zone, turn 5.
Well, it should be known they're just kind of having a casual conversation as they're battling one side at a time.
Again, big racetrack, little car.
Whoa.
Got time to make a cup of tea and grilled cheese and read a book.
There's a combination tea and a grilled cheese.
Yes. Don't judge me. Ooh, see Ken drop a tire in the dirt there and had to shuffle the steering around a bit. And Ken, DJ pulls out to a 4/10 of a second lead. Still draft locked, but Ken's got to be careful here, Finn. If he goes away about a second clear, he'll have a hard time running him back down.
The big thing for Ken, I think, or really whoever's going to be in second place on the final lap, is making sure that they stay close to their competitor. They start making mistakes. You're not going to have another lap or two to catch back up. That's going to be it for you. But see right here in the single straightaway, Ken catching all the way back up to the back end of DJ. But of course, you don't want to be this far back. You want to be as close as you possibly can. Maybe a little bit of space just to get some more slipstream in before you can make that move. But I think it might come down to Canada Corner for these drivers.
We got almost 11 minutes in this race, and it's going to be dark at the end of this thing. Just the last bits of light clinging.
They're going to need to put a flashlight as tied to the halo.
Up the straightaway, coming to 5 laps to go. 10 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. And this is the closest battle. Cathers, Carwile, and Zwicky are close, but not as volatile as this battle for the top spot. Here comes Ken Hausil again to the right. Fender, wheel to wheel. No fenders here. The DJ's been doing this crossover at the exit of 1 the last couple of times, but didn't get fully alongside, or at least not enough to complete a pass. So now he will be the attacker into 5.
In the turn 1, they were joking that they're looking at like next to each other side by side, like a Ford-horse Ferrari.
Oh,
staring down your enemy.
It'd be really, really fun to match the VR headset motion to the driver's helmet cam.
That would be such a wasted use of resources.
I think it'd be so. Really it probably is trivial though, right? Like at the end of the day.
Bit of oversteer for DJ.
It's probably a pretty trivial change.
I don't know. Couldn't get on that.
Yeah.
Crashed out. Start researching.
I mean, people have actually brought up in the forums before that it would actually be legitimately useful to have hand signals. Like in Miatas when you're bumper to bumper and you can't see anything but the windshield ahead of you. So
I mean, people have done that in Assetto Corsa.
I mean, pretty cool.
You can use your hands in Assetto Corsa.
As long as you give me middle finger function, I can use it all day.
Be like Dale Earnhardt.
Well, the Intimidator, man. These two have just been going at it back and forth, still under 9 minutes to go. And checking back in briefly on the other battles, there's Cathers, Carwile, and Sawicki. Then Noah and Brackman are 2 peas in a pod back there for 9th place. But these two have broken free of the pod, and they're up at the front here, coming to 4 laps to go.
Yeah, but working, and again, now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. So, like, now this is where you're going to want to start. Where do you want to be the car behind? Because they're still going to be exchanged. They're probably going to exchange hands another 3 times on that final lap. So where do you want to be across the start-finish line taking the white flag? Do you want to be the leading driver, or do you want to be the driver in behind?
So that time...
And I think for both of them, their answer is going to be yes.
That time, Ken, yes, you're right. Ken was trailing coming out of turn 14. He almost beat DJ to the line, didn't quite. So consider that.
I think the easiest way to defend from that, right, is the leading driver. Just back up the entry into the final turn.
Yeah,
parking on the exit, parking on the apex. So look here, there's James Cathers, Ryan Carwile, Richard Sawicki. Carwile, who's behind Sawicki, is able to catch back up and now challenging to get that final spot on the podium.
The other guys wanted some screen time too. Here's Brackman and No trading spots. And back to the lead because here comes Hausiel and Alessandrini again side by side into 5. Oop, little crossover there, but not enough momentum leaving the turn. It is getting dark. It's getting hard to see the cars on track.
Just enough light to finish this out.
Oop, door open. Ken's in there really hot into 8. And actually gained him some time too.
Yeah, he charged it pretty hard. Now he's going to try to work through the carousel. DJ keeping a nice tidy line through the carousel.
Well, this is going to be fun because, like I said before, they've uncovered each other's secrets already. They know where they can and can't make a pass, and the answer to the former question is pretty much everywhere they can make a pass. So how late is too late? How early is too early? That's what we're going to find out on at least the white flag lap. Big run. Lunge up the inside into Canada corner. This corner's always DJ. A little tighter than you think it is, and he's going to drift out right to the edge of the road. Here comes Ken up the inside.
DJ was breaking into there like he knew he was going to take the corner. That's a very, very tough thing to play as.
Oh, they crash!
Oh, man, and just like that.
This is going to bring the others right into the mix now, all 3 of them.
Oh, boy.
As Hausiel has to sit and wait. DJ is 3 seconds up the road. He is a sitting duck if these drivers can assemble.
Oh, boy. Wow, that wasn't expecting that at all.
No, I don't think anybody was, them included. So they come up over. I thought that Ken was a little bit wide up on this rumble. He get pushed out there, but he comes back across the road and just tags DJ and takes him with.
Yeah, I wonder if that was Ken just nervous that he was going to track out wide, maybe turn a little bit too much to the left.
Just kind of reactionary.
Yeah.
So DJ managed to escape. So Ken's out. DJ's 2.9 clear, but there's a group of cars behind him. They have to assemble and work together. And even still, that's going to be tough. 2.8. I mean, how much is the draft really worth?
Yeah, no, I think DJ might be in the clear here. He's saying he doesn't feel anything wrong with the car per se, and I think he got away pretty lucky with that. I thought I was concerned if he did have any damage.
I thought for sure it was going to be a Ken versus DJ battle in this one. They got a little bit greedy with it, and a little too liberal with the slicing and dicing there. So now that puts our 6th car out, and Cathers and Carwile, they are making up a little bit of ground here, but it's going to be tough. DJ is going to run as hard as he can. And it's not like a NASCAR restrictor plate race where a pack of cars is definitely faster. I'm sure that's, I mean, they're making up a little bit of ground, but it's not like hand over fist they're going to catch him in a lap.
DJ does have some minor damage to the right side, and it's mostly to some of the side pod and some of the floor, but it's nothing too significant, so he might lose a little bit here and there. I mean, it's kind of tough to tell. We'll see. We're running out of time. 2 laps to go. Cathers is about 2.3 seconds. If he can gain about another couple tenths, he might just be within that slipstream range, and they can make a move. But they have to. These guys in behind have to cooperate if they want a chance for winning.
Well, they've only really made up 0.7 of a second in a lap, which is not going to do it. But they need to come up with some more time somehow.
Bump draft.
Well, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but you almost would consider it. Or at least leapfrog, right?
Right? I would say go for it. Bump draft. Come on, Ryan.
No, not going for it.
Enough. I would go for it.
Nathan Brackman just had a spin down at Canada Corner. On his own, just stepped out on him. And then they're trying to work together too. That's the funny thing, is they know the mission here, but they're gonna have a hard time making up any ground. So again, it was about 0.8 of a second that they dispatched last time, and that was with DJ's bad run up the hill.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have to count that for effect. I think if anything, they might catch up on DJ a couple tenths, but I just don't think it's enough. I think they needed maybe an extra lap or two to really get there.
0.9. I mean.
Oh, nope, never mind. It's just one.
Gosh. Well, this has been an interesting night. I'll say that. Is there contact here? Carwile goes down the inside. No, he just crashes.
Fun around.
And they were making up some time, but now it's pretty much game over. This is going to be a very anticlimactic end to this thing. Wow.
Well, then anticlimactic.
Yep.
Went from one drama to the other, and now it's kind of, well.
Humbug. Man, Road America is a giver and a taker, isn't it? When it comes to racing
it's really
action.
funny because in almost every single race you could say before this one, it's been like put on a fantastic race. This race has been pretty entertaining in its parts, but it's so chaotic.
I mean, we'll be honest. That 70% of the entertainment was DJ and Ken going back and forth, and that wasn't really. That was half-hearted. This was just a. I think I have to agree with Pilata on this. As much as I love this racetrack, I'm not sure that these two things belong together.
Yeah, it's not a particularly good combination.
Hear the iRacing PA announcer in the background. Here we go, white flag, 1 lap to go, and DJ will end the misery here. 4 miles
flagman throwing the flag like he wants to get out of here.
Yeah. I think all the other trucks are packed up and rolling out already. We will have a battle for second, though, Sawicki and Carwile.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting, especially with the way the rest of this race is gone. Sawicki trying to make a move here, Carwile having to defend. So Carwile giving up every chance he had at potentially winning this race. He has to settle for second, potentially third here, depending on how this plays out.
Well, he could have a chance to chat with us up here in the booth if he could hold on to this, and assuming that they don't tangle down here at 5 or anywhere else at the end of the lap. Here comes Sawicki to the right on Ryan Carwile. These two have never raced each other in the real world yet. Cathers and Sawicki have.
Carwile deep on the brakes, keeps it nice and tidy through turn 5. Sawicki a little bit wide, trying to get a better run on the exit.
Yeah, he didn't have as much bravery on the brakes as Carwile did. Left the apex a bit unpainted there.
Turn 7, now into turn 8. He's a little bit far behind, needs to catch up in the next couple of corners. They're going to have a run back at Carwile. We're heading back now onto the back straightaway. Really the last chance they have at making a move here. As you look further down the order, this is Louis Leslie and Albert No battling out for 7th place.
Climb the curb there up in turn 7. That thing is nasty in the real world. That'll mess your stuff up, that turn 7 curb. So Alessandrini works his way down to Canada Corner. And Carwile and Sawicki, one last semblance of action here, I think, before we're going to give DJ the checkers. Right out to the edge of the road goes Ryan Carwile, but I don't know that Richard's got quite enough. Let's see if he can do something in the final turn here or take the draft run up the hill.
Carwile goes defensive. That's going to kill his run on the exit here. So he can nail this run off the corner. Might have something.
Here we go. Checkered flag for Alessandrini. Carwile might be a sitting duck to the checkers for second place. Carwile bobs and weaves, and I think he's going to get there, but here comes Sawicki late in the game. No, third place for the 528.
And we'll win by half a car length in behind. James Captis trying to make up for his run up into fourth. He will secure that. Francois Brou in fifth. Leader in the next car across the line. Whoa, as Captis goes flying around. No finish in seventh place. Eventually, as it looks like Lewis Leslie can't quite get there. He will round out in eighth.
Brunei and Brackman, whoops.
Whoa.
Rear wing missing off the 13, and Brackman is slow.
Actually, Brackman got into the back of...
Yeah, gave it back, I think. All right, wow, okay, checker flag. Road America, giveth and taketh away. Here's a look at your race results. DJ Alessandrini up at the pointy end. I thought that would be a little bit more DJ and Ken, but things got wild, and on lap 11 of 14, they tangled. Cathers had an opportunity to run Alessandrini down, but he got himself all crossed up before we finished off this one. So there's a look at your results, Finney, and take me through the rest of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, looking under the next page of results, or looking at this page, you got Carwile, Sawicki, Cathers, Brou, Mike Leader, Albert No, Lewis Leslie, Peter Lausen ended up coming back to 9th after starting in 20th. And then in 10th, Nick Brunei. Then you got Brackman, Cantor, Kovac, Henhouse back in 14th. That's going to be disappointing for him, especially after the run he had. Todd Rushing back in 15th. We saw him have problems early on. Sean Fritz, Caleb Patry, our pole sitter back in 17th. Tal Sadiq, Andrew Pilata, and Kevin Zhu rounding out our field 20 finishers.
And we'll hopefully talk with some new folks here. We should have Richard Sawicki, and we certainly do. So we'll pull in Richard Sawicki first. Third place in the number 528. That was a race of all time. How about that? 17th place is where you started this race. You finish it on the podium in third place. You dodged and weaved past all the carnage. It was a wild one out there, Richard. Take us through what you saw at the cockpit of your number 528.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a wild race. I'm happy to finally get a podium. Basically, I just stayed alive. I mean, I dodged all the cars. A lot of people were crashing. I just stayed alive, did fast, consistent laps, and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, towards the end of the race there, we saw Cathers had an opportunity to run DJ down after the dramas he had with Ken. Everyone was kind of working together, but, how often were you guys chatting on the radio and trying to figure out were you actually making ground drafting together versus DJ by himself?
After the incident with Ken, we realized that we were kind of catching DJ, so I did ask him what was going on. I think he had damage to his car, but a couple more laps, we might have caught him with the help of the draft.
Well, Richard, nice job tonight. Third place in the 528. You survived Road America. We'll give you a sticker for that one. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Thank you. And Ryan Carwile comes home in second. You were one of the trio that was trying to run DJ down after the scuffle up at the front, Ryan. But your leader found his locomotive off in the ditch there in turn 5. That didn't quite go to plan, but second place, that sure did. Take the 71 up to P2. How was your night?
Yeah, for sure. It was a crazy night. I felt like I was avoiding carnage left and right, and I think that's how I finished P2.
Yeah, I mean, the carnage caught us by surprise. I think we were expecting there to be some maybe at the end, but the big drama's early. What was that from? I mean, it seemed like you and the pack that you were in managed to keep it all together for the rest of the race. So what was up with the start?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but I guess it probably has something to do with it's a really drafty track, but it doesn't really seem to race side by side too well in these cars, so I think that just leads to trouble.
And trouble it did lead. Ryan Carwile in second place tonight in the number 71. Ryan, thanks for chatting, and we'll see you next week. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Well, DJ. What?
That was a weird one, guys.
That was a weird one. We were trying to figure out what demon someone made upset earlier in the race. Lap 2 was like we had 3 flips on lap 2, DJ. Kevin Zhu got sent to the Shadow Realm. We saw Talas Sadiq digging a hole in the turn 3 gravel trap with his front wing and his rear wing. You crashed with Ken, or Ken crashed into you, and you were able to drive away, and there was a group of cars catching you, and they crashed. So what was going on tonight? Why was it so tricky?
I think it might have had something to do with the goat I sacrificed before that race.
That'll do it, DJ.
That probably did it. It might not be related, but there was some hymns and chants to go along with it. I don't know, some witch doctor told me that I needed that to win the race tonight. So I was like, well, I don't like losing, so I guess I'll listen to your advice, weird witch doctor lady. And yeah, so I guess it worked out. So if she's watching the stream, thank you, I guess.
Well, DJ, all I can say is that you should stay away from Crossroads and pour a circle of salt around yourself tonight. Keep yourself from the race demons, because that was wild. I mean, not much more on that. It was pretty cut and dry. Just carnage and dramas everywhere. But congratulations for, I guess, outlasting the best of the rest.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I think if it went another lap, I might have fell into a hole that iRacing created last second. So I'm glad it ended when it did.
Well, I guess it's fitting that we had this so we can justify adding rain to keep things interesting. So good luck to you next week.
God, dude, can you imagine what rain would be like? All right.
Oh, I can imagine. It looks like this.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you later, DJ. Thanks. Yeah, that explains it. The goat sacrifice and the witch doctor, I think, was about all I can come up with. I thought Talladega was the racetrack built on Native American burial ground, but maybe this one as well up in rural Wisconsin. Dramatic race, a little bit of everything. That'll wrap things up, I suppose. I mean, what now? What next? We're headed to Magny-Cours next week in France. Maybe that'll return some normalcy to the series.
They're going to go flying back over the Atlantic Ocean back to France to Magny-Cours. That'll be an interesting one in this car. Another long straight, a couple long straightaways here, but some more technical sections. We'll see. It'll be any more chaotic than it can be here, especially with next week. Because next week, I think we should by that point on Wednesday have the chance of a little bit of rain coming up.
Well, I think we kind of saw the result of that a week early, perhaps. But anyway, that was a fun one. We'll see everybody next week in France and Magny-Cours. Thanks for watching the Washington, D.C. region SCCA Virtual Racing League, round number 5. We'll see you for round 6 next week from Magny-Cours.